The question is, what are the recent laws made by the Government of India to face the challenge of economic offences? What are the recent laws made by the Government of India to face the challenge of economic offences, with special emphasis on Fugitive Economic Offenders Ordinance? With special emphasis on Fugitive Economic Offenders Ordinance. This is the question. Of late, economic offences are looming large and affecting our economic health of the country. Economic offences are looming large, L-O-O-M-I-N-G, looming large, and it is affecting the economic health of our country. Government of India have taken stern measures, S-T-E-R-N. Government of India have taken stern measures to address the challenge of economic offences in India. Some of the important legislations made by the Government of India are as follows. Number 1, Fugitive Economic Offenders Ordinance, and the bill was introduced in Lok Sabha also. Fugitive Economic Offenders Ordinance, and the bill was passed in Lok Sabha. Number 2, Benami Transactions Amendment Act 1988. Amendment Act was made. Number 3, Prevention of Money Laundering Act was amended. Number 4, Bankruptcy Insolvency Code was made. Bankruptcy Insolvency Code was enacted. Number 5, some provisions in RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Act, also are important here. Some provisions in RERA. And government have taken many schemes and measures like demonetization to curb MAC money and voluntary income disclosure schemes. Government also made many schemes. So you have tried 6-7 points like this. Then if possible explain each thing, and emphasis on Fugitive Economic Offenders Act, Fugitive Economic Offenders Ordinance. Fugitive, F-U-G-I-T-I-V-E, don't write spelling mistake, F-U-G-I-T-I-V-E. Fugitive Economic Offenders Ordinance seeks to confiscate properties and assets of economic offenders. Confiscate properties and assets of economic offenders. Those evade prosecution, evade prosecution by remaining outside the jurisdiction of the Indian courts. Next point, economic offences with a value more than rupees 100 crore. Fugitive Economic Offenders Act will apply to the economic offences of the value more than 100 crores which are listed in the schedule of the Fugitive Economic Offenders Ordinance. Fugitive Economic Offenders Ordinance. So the value of the economic offence should be more than 100 crore. But this ordinance have become very important. Fugitive Economic Offenders Act bill is very important after Nirvan Modi, Punjab National Bank 13,000 crore scam, and after 9,000 crore NPA of Vijay Mallya, Lalit Modi, there are many issues of fugitive economic offenders. It is expected to establish rule of law as the accused will be forced to return to his own country. It is expected to enforce rule of law, and the alleged accused is expected to return to his own country and come to the jurisdiction of the courts. A fugitive economic offender is an offender who is alleged of committing some economic offence of big scale, of a large scale, and ran away from the country, or who is outside the country and not returning to the motherland. Without writing proper definition of fugitive economic offender, how can you write an answer on that? You should give a fugitive economic offender. Who is that? And next, special courts which were established under Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Special courts which were established under Prevention of Money Laundering Act will also function for fugitive economic offenders. So the property of fugitive economic offenders will be attached by the special officers. the property of fugitive economic offenders will be attached, and fugitive economic offenders are not allowed, after their property is seized, are not allowed to claim any civil proceedings for their property. They are not allowed to claim any civil proceedings for their property. And fugitive economic offenders, if at any point of time in the course of proceedings, prior to the declaration, they were entitled to get back their property through legal process. If before the declaration, if they come and request, they can get back their property with the proper, if they come to the court, if they pay some money, and if they follow the legal procedure, before the sale, before the declaration of the attachment of their property can be get back. So these things you have to write with special emphasis on fugitive economic offenders ordinance.